Alright, so good day to each and everyone, and then nandito na tayo sa panibago nating lesson ngayong third grading period, which is nakafocus tayo sa Earth and Space Science. So, yung mga topics na included dito sa third grading, it's all about the three topics, no? Or should I say three topics or three lessons. So first, ito po yung volcano or volcanoes. Pangalawa is yung climate change, and then last one is stars and constellations. So proceed po tayo sa ating lesson ngayon, which is all about the volcanoes. At alam ko naman, nung bata pa po kayo, alam niyo na po yung ibig sabihin ng vulkan, di ba po? And then I just want to introduce you first some of the primary concepts regarding dito sa volcanoes. So unahin natin yung dito sa part na ito, which is our country is located along the Ring of Fire. As a result, it is a home to many volcanoes. The most famous among our volcanoes is the Mayon volcano that has erupted begun in early January 2018. Ito yung latest, no? That considered of phreatic explosions. Ano yung phreatic explosions, no? Without the ejection of lava. And then mas matatakal natin siya later on, just including steam and ashes, steam and ash plumes, lava fountaining, and pyroclastic flows. Then sino hindi makakalimot dun sa matinding pagsabog ng Pinatubo Vulkang Pinatubo noong 1991 after 600 years of inactivity. In the first 5 years following the eruption, lahars destroyed the homes of more than 100,000 people. Lahars also covered about 120,000 hectares, with sediments to an average depth of about 1 meter and flood spread rock debris over a larger area. The eruption also affected other countries as its emission in the atmosphere lowered the air temperature. And then, according sa PHIVOX, our country is an ideal site for any volcanic activity. It is therefore important for us to know how this natural phenomenon happens to reduce the risk and effects it may cause. And then, the Earth's core is very hot and the pressure is very high inside. On the other hand, the Earth's crust is broken into 17 major tectonic plates that are rigid and lying on a hotter and softer layer of the Earth's mantle, forming a volcanoes, no? So may mga continental or mga tectonic plates na tayo pag-aaralan, pero ito ay tatakal out pa natin pagdating nyo ng grade 10. And then according to the definition of volcanoes, it is an opening or vent in the Earth's crust through which lava or molten rock is ejected. It has various activities, including explosion of ash fumes or ash plumes, no, and seismic swarms. It grows because of repeated eruption, and then it can be classified according to their activities, features, and characteristics. So before volcanoes, meron tayong terms na pwedeng itawag sa kanila kung ito ba ay active, inactive, or dormant, and extinct. So tatlo po sila. But somehow, may mga scientists or some other geologists, no, na or mga something na experts na gustong na talagang pinag-aaralan nila yung about sa vulkan. Yung salitang extinct, if it has not erupted in historical times, but there are volcanoes that are considered as extinct but suddenly erupted. So scientists prefer to use the term active and inactive only in classifying volcanoes. As you can see in some other textbooks, dalawa na lang naman, active at inactive. And then a volcano is considered active if it has erupted within the last 10,000 years or at least has shown unusual signs of activities like earthquakes and gas emissions. Inactive or dormant volcanoes are those which are not erupting but supposed to erupt again, no? Hindi natin malalaman kung talagang kailan, no? And then in terms of active volcanoes dito sa bansa, our country lies on a tectonic setting ideal for volcanic formation. It is surrounded by subducting plates as shown by the trenches that are responsible for the formation of volcanoes. So ayan. So, unahin muna natin yung pinakasikat na Mayon Volcano. Ito yung most impressive volcanoes dito sa bansa natin because of its perfect cone shape. Base naman sa nakikita natin, it has an elevation of 2,462 meters and that almost erased the town of Cagsawa in the Philippine map. Only the bell tower of Cagsawa Church remained, which is now known as the Cagsawa Ruins. No? Nakikita na lang natin yung mismong bell tower niya. No? And then, grabe yung nangyari ng mga panahon na yun. And then, Taal Volcano is located within Taal Lake in Batangas with an elevation of 400 meter and known as the world's smallest active volcano. It has more than 30 times recorded eruptions from 1572 to present and is currently being monitored due to its abnormal activities that may result to another eruption which has happened nung last January 2020. Grabe, no? Ang ganda. Tingin ko mga second week ba yun or third week nung pumutok yung Volcan Taal. And then suddenly ang ganda-ganda ng okay yung pasok ng 2020 and then somehow ayun nga, nangyari yung hindi natin inasang pagputok ng Volcan Taal. And then somehow Mount Canlaon is located in Negros Oriental, no? And then dun sa lugar na yon, with an elevation of 2,435 meter, it has erupted at least 25 times already from 1866 up to the present. Its latest eruption was in 2006, which is considered as a phreatic eruptions, meaning without the ejection of lava, katulad po na sinabi ko kanina sa una nating part ng lesson. It is now continuously monitored for some volcanic activities. Then susunod po dito is yung Mount Bulusan. Yung Mount Bulusan, it has an elevation of 1,559 meter above sea level na makikita sa probinsya ng Sorsogon. It has erupted 19 times since 1852 up to present. Its latest eruption was in December 2016 where it spewed out ashes almost 2 kilometers into the sky. And then, aside from the frequency of their eruption, volcanoes can also be classified based on their features or how they look like, no? So, proceed na tayo doon at hindi ko na masyadong ipe-present pa dito yung ilan sa mga marami tayong mga hindi ko na lang pe-present yung iba't ibang mga active volcanoes, no? Due to active or inactivity ng respective na volcan na yon. So proceed na po kagad tayo dito sa volcanic features. So unahin muna natin yung composite volcano or stratovolcano. Ito yung common type ng volcano where you usually see a tall mountain with a crater on top where pyroclastic materials are released. It contains thick or viscous magma with high content of silica. So, isang example ng stratovolcano is yung sikat na Mayon Volcano. And then next naman po is yung shield volcano. So, it is almost flat and broad. Its magma is less viscous because it has lower content of silica. When it erupts, the lava flows easily, no? Reaching far distance from the crater. And then, lastly, yung cinder cones or pyroclastic cones. Ito yung simplest type of volcano which are formed from the particles or fragments of congealed lava. When the lava is ejected violently into the air, it breaks into small fragments that solidify and fall as cinders around the vent, forming oval cones. No? So, just like for example, yung Volcang Taal, isa siyang isang example na cinder cone volcano. So, ayan yung volcanic features or characteristic niya. Kung paano natin may de-define yung kanyang volcanic features ng isang example or ng type ng volcano. So, ulitin ko po, meron tayong composite volcano or stratovolcano, cinder cone volcano, at saka yung shield volcano. So, ganyan po yung itsura niya. So, proceed na tayo sa volcanic location. So, volcanoes which can be found on land are referred as continental volcanoes. However, there are volcanoes that lie beneath the ocean and high latitude countries like Iceland. So, submarine volcanoes are underwater vents on certain zones of the ocean floor from which magma can erupt. Subglacial volcanoes are located either underneath a glacier itself or under the water, which is inside the glacier. These volcanoes have different shapes compared to other types of volcanoes. So ito yun na iniisip natin nung bata tayo pagdating sa mga malalimig na lugar, or di sabihin natin kung nandun ka man malapit sa Arctic Circle or Antarctic Circle, ibig sabihin po nun wala na pong mga vulkan. Actually, meron pa po katulad po na nakikita nyo dito, no? So, ganyan po yung factor or no mismong characteristics na taglay ng isang, yan nga, subglacial volcano or submarine volcano. May mga vulkan pa rin na nag-exist sa ilalim ng karagatan at saka dito sa mga glacial topographical places. And then, volcanic eruptions occurs when hot liquid lava and gases are discharged from a volcanic vent. Volcanoes may erupt violently when after an eruption, some magma that has risen near the top of the crater remained there. Then, when this magma solidifies, becomes a hard rock and seals the crater, thus the escape of gases and steam is prevented. Because of this, pressure builds up until the gases are released with a tremendous explosion. The glowing avalanche, no, is the most dangerous type of volcanic eruption base po sa nakikita ninyo. It is characterized by an extremely hot, thick, slurry pyroclastic flow with rock debris and water formed from magma after a volcanic eruption. And then, this pyroclastic flow, also known as lahar flow, produces a sound like a rolling thunder. It flows down the flanks of a volcano very fast, which can go further distances, often up to 10 kilometers, but sometimes umabot pa siya ng 40 kilometers from the disaster site, destroying everything in its path. Sobrang delikado o sobrang panganib. Volcanic eruption is caused by the differences in density and pressure sa loob ng vulkan. Magma rises when its density is lowered compared to the surrounding rocks. As it rises, bubbles start to form from the gas dissolved in the magma. The gas bubbles exert tremendous pressure that brings the magma to the surface, forcing it into the air and sometimes to the greater heights, causing the disaster in some nearby places. And then, volcanic eruptions cannot be predicted because the eruptive behavior of any volcano changes at any time. Geologists and seismologists they could only give warning signals. The probability of volcanic eruptions may depend on the seismic activities recorded by different instruments tulad ng seismographs, tiltmeters, and kung ano man yung mga kagamitan na ginagamit pa dito para mabasa nila yung appropriate reading kung gaano na ba kalakas yung mismong yung ating mismong yung mismong eruption ng particular na lugar na inoobserbahan nila. And then it may bring hazards to the people, plants, animals, and even to the environment. Lahar flow can bury nearby towns and wipe out forests. Volcanic ashfall can be abrasive, acidic, and odorous. It may cause lung damage, destroy electrical and mechanical equipment, and some infrastructures. Volcanic eruptions also includes earthquake, flash floods, landslide, acid rain, and even fire. Sa kalusugan natin, aside dun sa lung damage, maaaring maapektuhan yung mata din natin. Kaya mahirap talagang lalabas ka. Then may mga ash falls na bumabagsak and then somehow dumapo sa mata mo, kinamot mo, mahirap yun, magkakaroon ng damage, maaaring magkaroon ng damage yung mata mo. And then, in terms of energy from the volcano, the energy coming from the volcano may be tapped for human use. This energy is called geothermal energy. So yung geothermal energy, it is produced deep in the Earth's core. It is a renewable resource that can be harnessed to generate electricity. Inside the Earth, there is a naturally occurring hot water and steam called hydrothermal vent, which can be tapped by energy conversion technology to generate electricity. So this conversion of heat energy to electrical energy happens in a geothermal power plant, which uses turbine generators, transformers, and other power generation equipment. The geothermal energy or heat from the earth is tapped by drilling water or steam wells, which is similar to the processes of drilling oil. So ito na yung steps kung paano nagaganap tong process na ito. So una, using high pressure, a production well is drilled into a geothermal reservoir. Then, how geothermal fluids flow through pipe or conduit. No? When the fluids reach the surface, the pressure is decreased, turning water into a steam. The steam provides energy to turn the blades of the turbine, which is connected to an electric generator. The number 4, the mechanical energy produced from the turning turbine is used to drive the electric generator. Then lastly, sa number 5, electric current from the generator is sent to a transformer outside the power plant to increase its voltage. Then the high voltage electric current is transmitted to power lines of buildings and homes. Sobrang laki na naitutulong ng geothermal energy at possibly pwede natin siyang mahanap in some places of in the earth, no? And then in each country, no? It contributes to the development of different countries, including na yung bansa natin. Since our country is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, it has many volcanic areas that are good sources of geothermal energy. Thus, there are several geothermal power plants operating in our country, tulad ng sa Tiwi geothermal power plant, no? So I will laser this. Ito yung Tiwi geothermal power plant na makikita sa Tiwi Albay. And then next naman is Palimpinon geothermal power plant na makikita sa Valencia Negros Oriental, no? So actually marami tayong mga geothermal power plants na yun nga na makikita dito sa bansa natin. At hindi na po natatapos yung lesson natin. So that's all for today. Goodbye.